Good afternoon, good evening to everyone out there in webinar land. This is Stan, the annuity man, with my co-owner of Annuities Direct, Jimmy Direct, and we're glad you joined us for this webinar because this is important. Annuities are simple. They're contracts. They're transfer risk products, and too often agents are pushing them as these too good to be true, very complex products. They're not. So tonight we're going to talk about why annuities, the online direct-to-consumer version that Annuities Direct provides to you, why it's simple and easy for you as the consumer to make a decision. So with that, I'm going to introduce Jimmy Direct. Just flew in from New York City. Jimmy, how are you?
Great, Stan.
That's super.
Oh, we're having a good time. I think tonight we're going to have a good time because we've made some revisions to Annuities Direct homepage to make it a little bit easier to direct you. We've got a lot of changes that are going to be coming, so we wanted to kind of review some of those in cooperation with how to look at annuities relative to the famous phrase that Stan's made, income now, income later.
Or income never.
Exactly.
It's one of those three, period. So, yeah, I mean, and if you don't, if you're looking for market growth from an annuity, just go ahead and get off the call right now because it's not there. I know the all-indexed annuity gunslingers and variable annuity wannabes out there say, well, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can't. Stay in the stock market if you need growth. If you want transfer risk guarantees, contractual guarantees, and annuities are where you need to be. Jimmy, kind of show them through what we're doing on the site. It looks good to me, but I'm biased.
You are very biased.
I'm very biased.
And opinionated.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little. But what we did was we have broken it down to where it's easy for you to find the webinars, which are right here on the top side of Annuities Direct. So it kind of funnels down. And on the right side is the podcast. Those are where we interview top financial advisors and industry experts around the country, usually on a weekly basis, and we post those usually Thursdays or Fridays. Those go up with new people that we've interviewed. Just kind of giving you an overview of a lot of things that are there. The whole idea of the podcast format really was to introduce the Income Investor newsletter, which we're in the process of rolling out right now. So we've had quite a few people have registered for that, but you can do that as well. We'll go through that a little bit later. And then the Annuity Owner's Manual. So all of those are the pieces that are available on the site that are easy to find. Obviously, I just clicked on that, and now we're going somewhere.
What did you click on, Jimmy?
Well, we're about to find out.
Oh, you just clicked on Get Your Manual. By the way, I am a crazy writer of books, and I've written 6 annuity books, and you can get them for free because we're givers, Jim. We give things away because we want people to be educated. But the manuals are very informative. They're quick reads, written on income riders, deferred income annuities, QLACs, SPIAs, MYGAs, fixed rate annuities, and then I've written the Annuity Stanifesto. But really, these come down to, they're 50-page reads. They answer everything about these products, good and bad. But one of the things, too, that's new coming forward is the Income Rider Direct. We just solidified that today, signed the contracts. High five. That's the reason Jimmy was in New York. He flew back in after we get all that done. And that should be coming here soon. So Income Riders Direct will be next. Jimmy, go for it.
All right, just going back. Now what you'll be able to see is that we are, which is Annuities Direct, which will take you to the educational resources, the product sites, Ask Direct, or where you can ask all your questions, the educational resources, and then specific products relative to each of the websites, SPIA.direct, DIAS.direct, QLACs.direct, and MYGAs.direct. And all 4 of those sites offer live quotes. And as Stan said, we're in the process right now of building the Income Rider Direct website that will actually allow you to run a live quote on an income rider annuity. And then to go to each of those sites, you can hover over those right there, and you can actually click and go to each one of those sites. And then down at the bottom are the resources and other things that we have that will be coming as we unfold more of this. So the whole idea really was to build a site that allows you as a consumer to really direct what you're looking for and what you want relative to income now, income later, IRA income or no income from a MYGA type investment. So what I'm going to do is let Stan kind of go through each of these right here, and we can kind of flip to each of the sites, why they're there, and how you can use them, and how you can run quotes.
Well, one of the questions I got before we kind of dive in here, I get a lot of this, but one came in today. Stan, what sets you apart, Annuities Direct, from the other sites that try to or simulate or trying to copy what you're doing? Most of the sites out there that are begging you for a quote or begging you to sign up, those are lead mills. In other words, they're going to get your information. They're going to sell it for $150 to $300 per name. How about that? That's how much you're worth, by the way. And give it to someone locally who's going to pound on your door and try to jam an indexed annuity down your throat. So most of these sites are just nothing more than lead mills. Annuities Direct is not that. You can go through the process without ever speaking to an agent and buy the product. You'll get a licensed administrative assistant at the back end of filling out all the paperwork and get you across the finish line. There's been a lot of people say, well, Stan and Jimmy, that's just no way that can happen. That's just impossible. Yes, it's happening every single day. But if you say, Stan, I really need someone to explain this to me. I need to talk to somebody. Are you going to farm me to Stanny Jr. or Staniel or Stanetta? No, you're going to talk to Stan. You're going to talk to Stan the annuity man, me, #1 agent in the country, undisputable, licensed in all 50 states. It's not even close. The LeBron James, the Steph Curry combined of the annuity industry is sitting right here, and you get to talk to me if you have any questions. And if anyone doubts the fact that I'm abrasively factual and the walking middle finger of annuity truth, call me. I'm not going to try to sell you something. If you don't need an annuity, I'll tell you. And you know, don't be afraid. I will shoot straight, but please don't call me to validate something that you bought. It might be something good, and I'll tell you, but if it's crap, I'll tell you that as well. So that's one of the things, is what sets you guys apart. We are truly a direct-to-consumer platform, period. I mean, that's what we are. Now, during this webinar, shoot the questions in. We'll answer them. We can multitask. We can finger roll, as they say in basketball. We can do a myriad of things at one time, so we can answer as we're going along. But really, annuities are broken down really into three things. You either need income now or income later or no income at all. So with Annuities Direct, income now is SPIA, single premium immediate annuities, and income later are DIAs and QLACs, also income riders, which are coming, and then no income at all are MYGAs, which are fixed rate annuities. So let's dive in head first, triple Louis with the twist, Jim, into SPIA. Someone says, Stan, I need income right now. I need it now. Well, number one, if some agent out there said, well, I'll just sell you an index annuity and you can turn on the income rider immediately, then you've been duped. You're buying that agent a car. Anytime you need an income now solution, immediate annuities are going to provide the highest contractual guarantee period on the planet. And as I always say, you buy an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. So I've written a book on SPIAs, a single premium immediate annuity owner's manual, which you can get for free as well. Please sign up for that. But let's do a quote, Jim. I'll throw you that. You can hypothetically choose Mary and John Johnson's age out of midair. It doesn't have to be Mary and John. It could be anybody.
Before I do that, Mary and John might want to download a PDF, which we have here, which is it's a SPIA simplified. It's kind of a Q&A, a fact page on SPIAs. If you just click on the PDF, it'll actually download, and you can view that at your leisure. You can see down here at the bottom it pops up. You can open it, and it's just basically, it's kind of like a handbook on SPIAs. It goes through the table of contents, but some people like that. It's just an easy way to kind of look at the parameters of how a SPIA works. But as far as getting a quote, the easy part is right here at the top of all 4 of the product sites. You can go, it says get a live quote. You just click on get a live quote. It'll take you to the actual page where you can run a quote. If I'm a male, I'm going to say that I'm age 67 and that I don't want to be from Arkansas because I don't want to vote for Arkansas, but Georgia, and I have a spouse, female, her age is 65, and I want to put in $100,000 and I want it to start now, and it's a non-IRA. You could also have an IRA account, obviously either one, but we're going to choose non-IRA and click on get a quote.
All right, stop. That was simple. That was a simple way to get a quote, right? That was an easy way, a non-offensive way. You'd have some agent at your kitchen table. You get your quote. It's a beautiful thing, Jim. That was just beautiful what you just did right there.
Beautifully simple. So it's one of the few places that you can actually get a live quote where you don't have to, beg, borrow, or steal. So you can run the quote. You can see that you have a joint life only is at $452, and a joint with balance refund is at $444.
Jim, we haven't asked for their mailing address, their email address, and they got a live quote. What's the value of that in today's world? It's a lot.
$1.
It's a lot is what that is. No, it's a lot.
A lot.
It's a lot because people aren't going to email you or pound you and yell, you need to buy this. No, you can get a quote. You can see the real number.
So, and those are live quotes. I mean, the reason the company names are not on there is they don't allow us to do that.
And we don't want to do that either. Why? You don't buy the company, you buy the number. You don't buy the name, you buy the number. You don't buy the pitch, you buy the number. You buy it for what it will do, not what it might do. This is what it will do.
So if you decide you don't like the quote, if you want to run it differently, you can't obviously change your name or your ages, but you can go back and you can run a different quote. It'll take you right back to the screen. It keeps your data in the screen. But let's say that I wanted to actually have my income start in 9 months, and I actually would prefer to put in $300,000, and then I can get a quote, and all it's going to do is change the numbers based on what parameters you change. So it's going to run the same quote. You can see it comes back at $1,420 and $1,397. Stan, explain the difference between life only and balance.
First of all, you said it was beautifully simple. I say it's simplistically beautiful.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, because the difference between joint life only means that you and your wife are on your own Learjet, and it runs into a mountain and explodes. The money goes poof. Joint life only provides the highest contractual guaranteed payout, period. But when the second spouse dies, it's over. Game over, money's gone. But if one of you die, if Ernie, you die, and Mrs. Ernie Flinkle is still alive, the income stream continues uninterrupted and unchanged for the rest of Mrs. Flinkle's life. Now, joint life with balance refund is still a joint life. If you live forever and you're annoying everybody in your family because you're 120, they're still paying you. Doesn't matter how long you live. Don't email me and say, well, what if I'm 121? They're going to pay you. They're on the hook to pay you regardless of how long you live. Now, but joint life and balance refund means that when your Learjet hits the mountain, whatever's left in the account is paid to the listed beneficiaries in payment form until the money in the account is exhausted. If one of you dies and the other spouse is still alive, the income stream continues uninterrupted and unchanged for the life of the second spouse. But when the second spouse dies, whatever's left in the account goes to the listed beneficiary in payment form until the balance is fully exhausted. Jim, that was a poetic way to put it. That was beautiful. I mean, if our president could talk like that without us and does and us, it would be a beautiful thing, but he can't.
I'm just not even going to quote
exactly.
About that. So the other part which you might wonder is that right under it says get my quote with an asterisk. If you want to see the actual companies, you will click get my quote. Now here you do have to put in your name, which I can put in Jim, and I'm .direct.
Yeah, that's a great last name too, by the way. Your parents were great for that.
And my...
You're a female? Wow. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
The date of birth for the joint date of birth, this is so that you can get the exact quote based on that, and I'm just going to leave it at July 7th, 1951. And then I have to put in my email, which is jim@annuities.direct.
Why did you put that in, Jim?
Why did you put it there? Because you need to be able to receive the PDF.
So the PDF's going to be emailed after you hit that. Okay.
That is correct.
That's beautiful. That's simplistically beautiful.
Because in order to see them, they have to be sent to you directly, which is a mandate of the different companies.
Jim, do we sell that email address? Do we just give it away to anybody, or is it locked tight in the annuities.direct vault?
It's in the vault.
That's what I'm talking about.
And more importantly is that you will get 3 emails following your quote. The first email is, did you get the quote? Says,
Simplistically
did
beautiful.
you get it?
Yep. Did you get it?
The second one is, do you want to be on our email list for future webinars like this, podcast,
And if you
or
answered no to that, you need to check
newsletter?
yourself quickly because you're not thinking. So what's the third one?
And the last one is 10 days afterwards, because the quote expired, would you like to run it again?
Let me cover that. Annuity quotes are like a gallon of milk. You go to the store, you get the milk, you put the milk in the fridge, and then 11 days later you take a sip and it's like buttermilk. Tastes like crap. Annuity quotes do expire. When you buy them, you lock them in permanently, but you have to requote it. That's what the third email is all about, Jim.
Exactly. So you can run it again if you want. So when you click Get My Quote, it's going to tell you if you didn't enter all the data. So what it's looking at is that it's confirming whether or not these are the birthdays. And if they're not, then I would say, oh, I forgot. I was born on April the 8th of 1949. My spouse was born on June the 4th of 1951. And I do want, remember we said we want it to start 9 months later, so I want my income to start on April 7th of 2017. I click Get the Quote, and it will actually now go and run the quote, and it will return the PDF to me.
Those are the little men right now running to get the quote, running back inside the computer, because that's how computers work, Jim.
They're running through the internet.
They're running through the internet fastly.
So down here it says I can download the quote. If I want to see it on the screen, I can download it, and it will show it to me on the screen, and I can open it. Now, at the same time, if I were to pull up my email, I would see the email that I just received from this, that I got a PDF of the actual email. And because I'm actually
That's efficient, Jim.
computer challenged,
You're running like 6 screens. I think we're going to launch a spaceship later.
here is my email, and there is my live annuity quote. When I click on it, you can actually see it in the email. If I click on that, it will download inside of my email the same quote.
Stop. That was simplistically beautiful, right? It was simple. It was beautiful. It was efficient. That's what we're doing. That's what we're bringing to the consumers here, Jim.
So you can see it on the screen. You can scroll through it. You can look at the actual companies. You can see Integrity Life is the one that gives me the highest payout, Penn Mutual, and you can see both the life with a balanced refund and life
let's
only.
stop right here, because there's someone in Poughkeepsie, I can guarantee, because I love Poughkeepsie. They're saying, Stan, what's taxable portion mean? Listen, with immediate annuities, it's an annuitized product. Annuitization is creating payments, and when you create a payment with a single premium immediate annuity, it's a combination of return of principal and interest, right? So you're not going to pay taxes on a return of principal if it's not in an IRA. So the taxable portion is what you're going to pay. The $1,477, $392.22 is taxable. Everybody get that? Good.
So you have all of it right there in front of you, so it makes it simple for you to make a decision if that works, doesn't work. If you want it, you don't want it. If you do want it, you say, yes, I want to purchase a SPIA Direct online, and you can do that. You just have to go, you actually click on the name of the insurance company that you want. If I were to click on Integrity Life right here, it will take me to the page where I can actually sign up and purchase my annuity online.
Beautiful. All 50 states licensed, Jim. If you're living in Timbuktu out there, we can do it. We can help you.
And if you're one of those people who says, unfortunately, I still have questions, I want to look at my options.
Talking to Stan, baby.
You can click on your options, and it will take you to what your options are relative to the actual quote itself. So when each part of this allows you to kind of cantilever into different pieces of it.
Cantilever?
You like that big word,
it's like
didn't
cantaloupe?
You? No.
It's not. It's like cantilever is like a hydraulic. What is it?
Cantaloupe is when your parents tell you can't elope.
That's what I'm talking about.
So each part of it allows you to direct yourself somewhere to the site to gain the data that you're looking for. If that's more options, it'll take you to the page where you can choose more options. If you want to sign up for it, then you just simply click on the actual company itself.
And it pulls it.
Went over here.
It pulled it on your other screen, Jim. That's
Oh,
impressive.
there we go, and everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's screens everywhere.
It's and it will take you through how to proceed. You can click on the buttons and it will actually walk you through each process of the purchase. It walks you through the application process, and then you would actually click on signing up to meet with one of our beautiful
administrative assistants. By the way, for all you haters out there, all you pseudo competitors, you don't have to talk to an agent. No agent is actually needed. However, if you do need one, I am here to explain everything to you.
All right, so that's a SPIA.
That's an immediate annuity, Jim. Immediate annuities were developed in the Roman times, Jimmy Dot, for the Roman soldiers and their families as payment for their dutiful service to the Roman Empire. That's what they were designed for. I'm not kidding, people. I'm not kidding. That's true. Okay, that's the history of annuities. And they were the only annuity type sold in this country up until the 1950s. So they've been sold in this country for over 200 years, people, for a long time. These are the most simplistic, the most efficient, I think the most pro-customer, no annual fees, no moving parts, low commissions to the agent. By the way, all commissions are built into these policies, but this is the lowest one, all right? So with that being said, Stan, what if somebody says, I really like that SPIA, Jim, but I don't need it to start now. I need it to start later. Guess what that's called, Jimmy Dot? It's called a DIA. Defer. It's a deferred income annuity. So let's do a deferred income annuity. It's structured just like a single premium immediate annuity. No moving parts, no annual fees, very low commission, very efficient. The big boys play. It's a commodity product. And the other thing, that's it, Jim. That's what I was going to talk to you about. Annuities are commodity products. And what do I mean by that, Jimmy Dot? What I mean, good question. What I mean, no. What I mean by that is that you need to shop all carriers, all of them. Why? Because they're commodities. You want to get the highest contractual guarantees, and you need to look at all companies. Now people say, well, Stan, I can just go to Fidelity Vanguard for that. Well, let me just tell you something a little bit about that. Number one, I love them, and they love us. Okay? Don't even think for a second we don't love them, but we love them for mutual funds. But if you're buying annuities from Vanguard and Fidelity, it's like going to a grocery store and only shopping in the ethnic food section for your food choices. Fidelity represents 5 carriers. Vanguard represents 7 carriers. Annuities Direct, every carrier, pretty much. I mean, every single carrier on the planet that will allow us to represent them, Jimmy, we have them. I'm not putting them down. What I'm saying is shop all carriers. They don't provide all carriers. We provide all carriers. So with that being said, Jimmy, dive in head first, triple Lindy into DIAs.
All right, one quick question, though, from John.
What?
John wanted to know, without pulling that back up, how much of the SPIA income is taxable?
It depends on your age at the time you take the payment. It's based on life expectancy, and it's also based on interest rates to a point. Life expectancy is the primary pricing mechanism, but it just depends on how old you are, if it's a joint life, and then when you're starting the income stream. So it's really a life expectancy calculation.
And the good part is the illustration will tell you how much is a taxable
to the penny, and it's contractual.
So, John, run an illustration on yourself, and you'll actually see.
Pull the PDF
up, and you can see how much of it is taxable.
Yep.
All right, DIAs, same thing. Go to the DIAs.direct. By the way, when you type these in, you do need to type in DIAS dot period DIRECT.
Not .com, Jim. .com is old. .com is like the AMC Pacer of the internet. Remember the AMC Pacer? That car, everybody had one. You don't have one anymore. .com is played out. .com is the past. The future is .direct. So don't type in .com and then call me, Stan, I typed in .com. No, it's .direct. Why? Because it's a direct model to consumers, Jimmy.
So you click on get a live quote. Still getting over the Pacer, but that's
exactly.
The screens look very similar. I mean, we've tried to make them universal in how you would enter their data. To get a DIA quote, which is a deferred income annuity, I'm going to be a male, age 67, and I'm going to be, this time I'm coming from Florida.
That's what I'm talking about.
I am going to run a joint quote with a married at age 64. I'm going to deposit $100,000, and I want to defer the income for 10 years.
I love the word defer. Defer.
All right, so we're going to defer it for 10 years. It's a non-IRA account, or we can choose an IRA account. Doesn't matter. Get a quote, and it says you cannot defer past age 70 and a half years. So
that's the alarm that just went off.
Isn't that cool how we built in the rules?
You know why? Because it's a beautifully simplistic direct-to-consumer model, Jim.
So meaning that if you're putting it into a DIA, I'm age 64, deferring for 10 years, you're going to hit the RMDs.
That's the RMD. That's the RMD alarm going off.
So you can still do a DIA, but you have to have the ability to take the distribution.
The RMDs required
from another account.
Distributions from the other account. Exactly.
All right. So let's go back and let's just change this to a non-IRA account so that we can run this quote.
You are a sneaky one, Jimmy Dot.
I know. Try.
You're trying.
All right, and it looks the same. You joint life, $898.50. Joint with balance refund, $825.64. Same option if you want to run a different quote. And if you want to get the quote, same issue.
Let's see the quote, Jim.
If you put your name in, and I'm going to be Jim.direct.
Still a female?
I'm still a female.
Oh, good for you.
See, and I like to do this just because it makes it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Is that click get a quote, it always comes back if you've done something. I'm starting to feel like I'm at Walmart. So you go back in, I'm going to put in my date of birth, and I'm going to put in my spouse's date of birth, and I want the start date to be 10 years forward. So look, it automatically calculates 10 years into the forward for you, so you don't have to try to figure out with your fingers.
It's beautifully simplistic, Jim. It's online. It's direct to consumer.
Email, you're going to get, remember, you get 3 follow emails. Did you get it? Do you want to be on our email list?
Wait, stop. If you say no to that, you need to check yourself. Go ahead.
And it's expired quote at the end of 10 days. All right? So I want to get my quote. It's going to do the same thing.
Da-da. Oh, there it is.
Download the quote and open the quote.
There it is, Jim.
And there it is. Forrester's Life is the winner.
They win. They win, Jim.
But I want you to notice that Mutual of Omaha
They won the balance refund. Which leads back to the commodity discussion we were having with SPIAs. Annuities are commodity products. You shop all carriers. If you have an agent showing you one carrier, backhand that person. Just reach back, hit him as hard as you possibly can, and tell him to get out of your living room, because they are trying to win a trip to Bora Bora to drink for free. And you need to say, after he gets off the floor and wipes the blood thing off the corner of his mouth, you need to say, listen here, Mr. Agent, you show me all carriers, because coming forward in 2018 in January, the Department of Labor is going to require you to act just like Annuities Direct does right now and show all carriers.
So there.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so you can get that. I mean, so the idea is to make it as easy as possible to run the quotes, to run them the way that you want them, to get the answers that you're looking for. And if they don't work, you disappear into the night and nobody bothers you.
And we still love you.
So that's a DIA.
That is beautiful. And again, Jim, simplistically beautiful, direct to consumer, non-threatening, on your own terms, get live quotes, see all the companies, you can get PDFs, you can get books, and no one showed up at your door yet. No one's called you. You haven't gone to a bad chicken dinner seminar. Nothing. You've gotten the information you need, the contractual guarantees you need, Jim, and that's all you want. As a consumer, what do you want, Jim?
Simple.
You want it to be simple. That's what we're doing right here. Jim, I have an IRA, and I really don't want to take money from an IRA because I'm mad. I want to defer. Defer? I want to defer. Exactly. What are my options for that within my IRA, Jim? I'm looking for 4 letters.
QLAC.
QLAC. Let's do it. In 2014, the Department of Labor and the IRS, Jim, got together in a small room in Washington, D.C., and they ironed out with pen and paper the QLAC, the Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract. Why, you say? Good question, Jimmy Dot. You always ask the good question. The reason is they were looking at the young worker and saying, you know what, young worker, Social Security might not be here. You need to start planning for future income. So these QLACs, we're going to start putting them into 401ks. But because we're putting them into 401ks, we also have to include them in traditional IRAs, non-Roth, traditional IRAs. So people that have traditional IRAs can still benefit, Jimmy Dot, from a QLAC. So with that, let's dive in.
Let's go. If you go to Get a Live Quote, just like we did on the others, page comes up very similar. This is going to look just like a DIA because essentially QLACs act, walk, and talk like them, except for the fact that we can defer beyond 70 and a half.
You can go out to age 85. Doesn't have to be age 85. It could be 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 85. It could be any of those dates. But 85, they do tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, start the income stream.
So we're going to be a male, and we're going to say that I'm age 65 and that I live in Delaware.
Nice.
I'm going to do single. I got 125,000.
Which is the total amount and the maximum that you can put in. 25%, Jimmy Dot, of your IRA total, or 125,000, whichever is less. That's the rules.
But I'm going to defer for 20 years, which takes me to age 85.
Defer.
And the question commonly comes back, why would I want to defer to age 85?
That's a good question, Jimmy Dot. Another round of applause for you. The reason you do that is when you go take your required minimum distributions when you're 70 and a half, that 125,000, Jimmy Dot, is not included in your calculation. So let's just say you have $500,000 total in your IRA, Jimmy Dot, and you take out a $125,000 QLAC. When you go to do your RMD calculations, you're doing it on 375. Why, Jimmy Dot? Is because 500,000 minus 125,000 equals $375,000. That's why you do it. Two reasons to buy a QLAC. Number one, reduce taxes on your RMDs. Number two, future income for you and possibly your spouse if you like that person. You can set it up joint life.
Cool.
Exactly.
So if you said your RMD was roughly $7,000 at age 71 as a male, be different for female.
Exactly.
Life expectancy is longer.
Right.
IRS table says it would be roughly $77,000.
Okay.
If I'm in a 20% tax bracket,
yes,
I save $1,400 in taxes.
That's what I'm talking about, Jim. $1,400. You know what that is for me and you? 3 trips to Ruth's Chris. That's what that is. But for a lot of people, it's even more. For my parents, they could eat forever at Hardee's.
Exactly.
And enjoy it.
All right, so we click on Get a Quote. The other reason that is not outside of the tax parameters is that if you live to be age 85 and you need to have health care, long-term care.
How about inflation, Jim? How about inflation?
That's what it would pay you is $5,617 on a single life or $3,863 on a balanced refund.
And by the way, Jimmy Dot, that income stream coming off the QLAC, Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract, your RMDs for that amount covered as well from the income stream.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful and efficient and simplistically beautiful at the same time.
So, yeah. I don't know what you were drinking earlier, but
straight up Java coffee.
That explains everything.
Exactly.
If I want to get the final quote, Jim blew it. He forgot to put in his birthday again.
Yeah, but you know what? We catch it. When you're not detailed, Jim, the system is simplistically beautiful to catch that.
It will catch it unless if you don't change your date of birth from being today, it will catch it. Which is the way we programmed it, because very rarely are you going to run a QLAC on your birthday.
Exactly. You know why? Because you're celebrating.
Exactly.
You're out partying and drinking heavily.
So you download the quote on the QLAC, open the quote, and I'm going through this so that because what's going to happen is you're going to see when
Let's see it.
We had a problem, Houston.
Adobe? What happened to Adobe, Jim?
It blew up.
Adobe blew up.
Let's try that again.
Let's try it one more time.
See?
Simplistically beautiful, Jim.
Errors do happen.
Yeah, but you know what, Jim?
It's not gonna.
It's not running?
It's not downloading right.
Why not?
Because my computer's malfunctioning.
But you know what? They've seen SPIA and DIA. They've seen how the list goes, right? And you know what else is happening, Jim? I'm looking on the screen. We have 1,572 people listening. I'm assuming they're all running quotes.
Might be. Clogging up the system. But it would look the same. I mean, you'd have the actual, the companies that would give you the taxable portion, which, by the way, would be 100% because...
It's in an IRA, people. And by the way, I had a question today. Hey, Stan, have you come up with a way so I don't have to pay taxes with the money coming out of the IRA? Let me just answer it quickly for you. No! And anyone else to say that they can, don't listen to them, okay? Jim, I don't want income now. I don't want income later. I could care less about my IRA. I just want to protect the principal. I don't want to lose money in the stock market. I don't want to pay any fees, and I don't want to pay any taxes on the interest. MYGA. Is there anything out there that I could do?
MYGA.
And MYGA stands for multi-year guarantee annuity. And in English, that means fixed rate annuity. Fixed rate annuity, Jim. So click it. Now, people say, Stan, what's a fixed rate annuity? The closest thing that I could compare it to is a CD. Why? Because you lock in the money for a specific period of time, and it pays a specific rate. That's it. Multi-year guarantee annuity. Show them the live feed, Jim. Live. This isn't some cut and paste deal. This is live.
By the way, each of these, you can download the Comdex ratings right here from the Comdex rating report, which will give you the ratings of the companies that we recommend relative to their ratings. Stan, one of the questions that we have here is, what is the cutoff that you would use for rating?
I don't really have a hard cutoff, Jim, because we're a little bit more in-depth than that. Jimmy Dot and I have been around the block, forgotten more than most people will ever know. And with that being said, we can look in, I'm just kidding, we can look internally at these companies' numbers, solvency ratios, bond holdings, etc., do our own analysis. But we do use Comdex rankings. I don't know what we typically say, Jim. What do we normally say on the DSBs and QLACs? It's a 70 or above. But there are some exceptions, because there are some companies that have been taken over by other companies that had to write down some bad debt, and they're restructuring. We like what they're doing. We see their number. We see their internals, and we'll sign off on it. So it's really on a case-by-case basis. But with MYGA Direct, Jimmy, what I like about this, simplistically beautiful. You can customize it. The drop-downs show you what's available in your state. With that being said, all fixed annuities, and these are fixed annuities, are regulated at the state level. So each one of these products has to be approved in your state. That's what the state drop-down is for. So put in your state. You can put in anything you want, qualified, non-qualified, the amount of money, et cetera, et cetera. And at the far end is rate GTD, which is rate guaranteed. We're really not wanting people to go past 5 years. You kind of have to put a bullet to our head to do that, because of the yield curve is telling us 5 years works. And you hit search, and it pulls up all of the companies in your state, approved in your state for purchase, and the far right-hand side shows you the best yield, period. Simplistic, no annual fees, compound interest in a non-IRA account. Jim, these are no-brainers. This is the definition of an annuity, no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that I think you and I did a webinar 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Award-winning. I mean, the accolades are coming in right now. It's unbelievable what we're getting back.
On, a couple of annuities that were yielding 3.1, 3.15%, and everybody, we got a lot of emails that said interest rates are going up, the Fed's going to meet, FOMC meeting, they're hiking rates. What happened?
Jim, what's the 10-year Treasury right now?
Oh, we don't want to talk about it.
At the time of this taping, in the Dot Direct studios, the luxurious Dot Direct studio, 1.4.
1381 today.
Exactly.
And when we did the webinar 4 weeks ago, it was 171.
People, we might be in a new interest rate environment, not a low interest rate environment. And the reason that that's important is because Germany's negative right now on the 10-year, Japan's negative on the 20-year and the 10-year. Hello.
The 20-year went negative today.
So when people say, Stan, how much lower can interest rates go? They can go lower. I don't want them to go lower. I want them to go higher, just like you do. But you can't think that Jimmy Carter's still in office. You can't think that they can automatically raise rates. You can't think that, hey, Stan, they have to go up. They don't have to go up. For the last 3 years, people have been saying, Stan, I'm going to wait and time it because they have to go up. They haven't gone up, Jimmy Dot.
Which is one of the reasons that we're launching the income investor newsletter, is that to address income. I mean, from the standpoint that, you know, interest rate, we are in a new interest rate environment. I don't think anybody could argue that fact, but you can sign up for it right here. If you missed what I did, all I did was click on the, went to the home page, clicked right here on Investor Income Newsletter. This page comes up. You can sign up right there. In the next week, we're going to start mailing these out on a regular basis, and then you can come to the website and find the stuff. But we'll also have podcasts on income as well. But a lot of this interest rate stuff, I'm in the middle of writing an article right now that is on, is 1% the new reality for U.S. Treasuries on a 10-year basis?
Maybe.
It may be. I don't know. But that, I mean, I just think that's an interesting concept. We understand that at 138, we are at an all-time low. For all of the U.S. history, 240 plus years, the Treasury is at an all-time low currently.
Hello.
I mean, and that puts things in perspective.
And by the way, Jimmy Don, income investor, I'm excited about this, people. I was running around the building today, and people said, stop, Stan, why are you running around the building? And I'm like, income investor, income investor, income investor. Why? Best newsletter on the planet. It would have value if only Jimmy Don and myself were writing on it. If we were just the only two people writing on it, it would be worth everything. Everything. You should sign up for it for that. But guess what? All the people that we talk to know the masters of the universe. Jimmy Dot and I are older than dirt. We've been in this thing a long time. We're going to bring in outside people to write about income, not just annuities, Jimmy Dot, income, how people go about it, retirement income, income from REITs, income from MLPs, income from stocks, income from bonds, income from annuities. It's going to cover everything. This is going to be the game changer right here, Jimmy Dot, because I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to want to read this because we're going to update it all the time, and it's not going to be some bias push you to some product, some bias, you got to buy this, this, and that. No, it's going to be opinions that are real.
And we'll link out to articles. There was an article that was just published by Bill Gross in an industry periodical that I get because I'm an advisor, but
I call him Grossy.
He is
friends call him Grossy.
But he wrote a really good piece on this issue about how bonds are going to change and how people are shifting to high yield assets without understanding the risk, like junk bonds. And so we'll link to those type of articles because they're well done by people we respect and know that give you some good insight into things that you might want to know as an investor. But going back to the yield issue, you can see yields have been creeping down on the 5-year MYGAs. It's very interesting how much they've changed just because rates have changed, 40 basis points really in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, we had the one that was just recently available for less than 2 weeks, 3.15. Annuities Direct actually set an industry record, I believe, with what we did. It was unbelievable. Things were melting down. I mean, we were just overwhelmed by people understanding the value proposition of 5-year paper with no annual fees at 3.15%. We're still getting, we got emails today. We probably got 30 or 40 emails this morning ready to move forward with that 3.15. Yeah, me too. It's gone. These things last, I mean, there's never an urgency to do anything, right, except get healthy and spend time with your family. But these things don't last, Jimmy. They come and they go, and especially in these low interest rate environments, new interest rate environments, you're seeing these yields drop.
Well, and like even here, I mean, this helps explain some of what people see on MYGA.direct, but like with Centennial Security Life here, B++, but, explain some of this stuff, Stan, because people are going to ask these questions.
Let's do it.
Free withdrawals, years 1, year 2, where it's got 0, 0.
With the Sentinel one, they don't allow you to take money out for the 5 years. They'll guarantee that that rate that I think is 3.1, but they will not allow you to take money out. If you go down, some will allow you to take just interest out. INT means interest.
Yeah.
Some will allow you to take 10% out per year of the principal. It just depends on what type of liquidity needs that you have. Also, too, on the issue age, that's how old you can be to get it. Okay, so you can be an old geezer at 90 and buy it. Okay, that's what that means. To all you 90-year-old geezers, I love you, baby. But anyway, I'd like to be a 90-year-old geezer, Jim. I say that in a loving fashion. And then you also see the minimum, what the minimums are. Some of the higher rates, Jim, they require you to step up to that proverbial dollar plate and plunk 200 grand in to get it. Some of the A-plus rated companies.
I noticed that today when I was looking for a client for a MYGA, and you know, A-plus companies have gone to $200,000 and $300,000 now just
Minimum.
to get a 2.7% 5-year guaranteed yield.
Minimum.
So
Pull the 3-year, Jimmy. Pull the 3-year.
You're just seeing a lot of changes in what's going on.
So the 3-year, and we're doing a lot of laddering where you buy 3-year, 4-year, and 5-year paper. You don't even have to put qualified or qualified. You just leave that blank. It'll just pull it.
Just take
So Georgia, and there you go. 3-year right now, I believe, should be around 2%, Jimmy Dot. Where are we at?
2%.
Okay, so 2%, the 10-year Treasury's what again, Jim?
1.8.
Hello.
I mean,
So,
1.38.
you know, when people call us up or email us, say, yeah, by the way, you can send a questions at annuities.direct. We answer every single one like clockwork. Stan, looking for 5% with principal protection. I'm looking for 6-pack abs, okay? It ain't happening, son. You need to get realistic with what's out there. Right, Jimmy? You follow me? I'm telling you.
And you can see, I'm not going there.
Exactly.
You can see Guggenheim has a $250,000 minimum to get the 1.9% on a 3-year. Even if we go out to the 10-year, you're going to see that not a whole lot changes.
There's no value proposition there, Jimmy Dot.
Well, because Sentinel is at 3.4, they were at 3.1, but
On the
you're
5.
going out 5 more years
For
to pick
30
up 30 basis points. Yeah.
No.
You just have to weigh out what works best. That's why, I mean, just going back to the point earlier, is that the reason we built the .direct website is that you can go and quote everything you want simplistically, look at what your needs are and what fits and what doesn't fit.
Absolutely. And by the way, with MYGAs, if you don't know, at the end of the term, so you get to the 5-year term, guess what happens? You get all your money back. Hey, Stan, send me the money. Great, send you the money. Or if you say, Stan, I want to keep deferring the taxes, you could transfer it to another annuity, hopefully at a higher rate. But you're in full control of the asset. You don't have to create payments. You don't have to annuitize it. You can just take all your money. If you've ever purchased a CD, same category. Okay, it's just same category. It functions similarly to a CD because it's a specific period of time, and every year there's an annual guaranteed percentage on the principal, Jim, of which you fully control.
So, you know, not to belabor the point, but the whole idea of creating Annuities.direct was to bring it down to the consumer level. That's why it says direct to consumer. That's why on each of the websites, when you go to any of the 4 websites, when you click on these sites, it says that you can do this without an agent, and that's really what it allows you to do, is that you don't have to have an agent to purchase it. You can walk yourself all the way through the process.
But I am available. I provide myself to the Annuities.direct client in case they need me to hold their hand, Jim, and I will hold it gently across the finish line if needed.
And I think that's the key, is that you always have the ability to ask questions.
Yep.
You have the ability to dig as far as you want to dig. And I think as you see as we progress, I mean, these sites are now only on their 4th month birthday.
How about that?
So
how about that? We're the envy of the industry. They hate us because it's good.
You're going to continue to see more content come available. You'll continue to see more ways that you can learn about them.
Go to the podcast. Show them some of the people. I mean, we're not playing around on these podcasts now. I mean, we know everybody and they know us. And they want to be on this. I mean, you've got some great people, you know, and if you're not familiar with them, you need to be. They have newsletters. They provide information. You know, we continue to post these, and, you know, we're doing them, trying to do them once or twice a week when we can get our time scheduled to do it. But the podcasts are fun. You can listen to them on your own schedule. Also, Jimmy, I was wanting you to pull up the Comdex. We got about 10 more minutes left, and let's just show what the Comdex rankings look like. We're the only people that give this stuff away. Why? Because you need to see it. There's 4 rating services that cover, primary rating services that cover annuities. AM Best, Moody's, Fitch, and S&P. Now people say, well, what about Weiss? We don't carry Weiss because Weiss is a gloom and doomer. We love Martin. We speak with Martin, but we just don't carry him, and he's not part of the Comdex rankings. But you can see all this. You can see AM Best, Moody's, S&P, and Fitch, and then the corresponding Comdex ranking 1 to 100 score that makes sense to all of us. We update this on a monthly basis, Jimmy Dot, and it's free. You could pull it up, PDF it, and you know who pulls this all the time? All the big wirehouses pull us, Jim. They use us as a resource because they're too darn cheap to buy it for themselves and to provide it to their clients. So what do? They go to the #1 direct-to-consumer site with annuities, Annuities.direct, and they download it because they're cheap, Jim, and they don't care about their customers like we do.
And in order to do that, sometimes things come out of Stan's mouth that catches me off guard. You can print you can print it over here. You can see in the top right-hand corner, you hover over the printer, you can print it, or you can save it to your own computer, and you can reference it as much as you want.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And by the way, here's another thing. If you say, Stan, I'm really interested in XYZ carrier, but I want more information, send me an email. I'll send you their financials. We can go as deep as you want to go. Somebody did that the other day, Jim, because they were buying a huge MYGA from Annuities.direct, and they said, Stan, before I plop down this big number, can you send me the financials? Absolutely. The same company that we buy that service from, we can get you their real numbers, I mean, down to the penny. And if you know how to read a balance sheet with me, we'll all sit around a room and read the balance sheet. But he read it, bought it, and he felt pretty good about it. Let's do questions, Jim. We got about 10 more minutes.
All right.
Let's jump.
One other thing that I wanted to go through is you can get to any of the quote pages up here out of the menu, the home page. Go to direct. You can go directly to the webinars. You can go to the podcast directly. So each of them have their own pages. If you want to separate them, they're combined on this page. But if you want to look at them separately, where I only want to see past webinars, you would click on webinars.
If I release an album, would you put that album on here for the people to listen to?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll work on that. Oh, you got stumped by a question. There's a question that just came in to stump Jimmy Don. That's impossible. Boy's got more advanced degrees than
God.
half the people on the call.
So you can see all of these. You can go back and listen to them after they're recorded.
Well, that's a good
like this one
right there, buddy. Look at that. Look at that.
That's a professional interview with Stan the Annuity
And
Man.
you know
about annuities.
exactly. That's why my wife married me right there.
There's
another one too. With my line of clothing, signature line, by the way.
You're smarter than an annuity agent. That was
there's some good ones. Hit me with a question, Jim. I need questions. I need questions.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Is there a way that I can defer?
Everybody say it together. Defer. Yes.
And give that money to my children. The income, future income stream.
Future income stream, you can set up a joint life income stream with a child.
Nice.
Yes, you can. Now, they're going to look at you as the old fart in the room and not even look at you. They're going to base the income stream on that young kid. So that's okay, but it's a neat little way to transfer risk, create a lifetime income stream, and handcuff the kids from getting to the money and going out and buying a Ferrari. I always say this, Jim. They're going to show up to your funeral in a Ferrari. You just want them making payments. Remember that. And also remember, Jim, there's no U-Hauls behind hearses. I've done this for my daughters. My daughters are dancers, which means they won't ever make a dime in their life, but they'll dance their little hearts out. So what did I do? I bought a DIA for future income and deferred until they're age 60 so that they're at least going to have an income stream when they're old dancers and they're decrepit. They can't get to the money, they can't cash it in, but it's a future income stream for them, Jim. It's called handcuffing your beneficiaries, and you know what? That's a love language I understand. What's the next question? I knocked that one out of the park.
How do I send you a question on any of the things I look at on the website?
Wouldn't that just be annuities.direct? Wouldn't it be under questions, Jim? Ask a question?
Well, that's it right there. If you go to Ask Direct, which is where I was headed to get there, if you click on Ask Direct, it's going to take you to the questions page.
And Jim, I don't sleep. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm a little wired. I don't sleep. I will answer your emails quickly. And I answer every single one of them, Jim.
And all you have to do is fill in right here your name, email, and your message, and it will go directly to Stan.
It's beautiful. It's simplistically beautiful, Jim. And I'm not going to call you a bug. I'm just going to answer your question. It'll be brutally honest. It'll be the walking middle finger of annuity truth, but you'll get the facts.
And here's the other thing is if you have a question specifically for Stan, you can email him at Stan, the annuity man, or annuity, ANNUITY, man, MAN, at annuities.direct.
Perfect.
So annuity man at annuities.direct, so he answers them direct out of the direct website for us, which I appreciate. And also, if you have questions in general, you can go to questions, ask them. They come to our general email box. If they're for Stan, they'll go there. Otherwise, we answer them and send them back to you.
Notice there's no 800 number, Jim. You know why? We want it to be non-threatening. We're non-threatening, Jim. I know I feel like I'm threatening. I'm non-threatening.
So just, it's simple to ask questions, so we wanted you to do that. Stan, if I get a quote and I need to talk to somebody about it, how do I do that?
You want to talk to me, send a question or send an email to me and tell me a good time to call, and I'll call you. How about that?
Or there's more.
Yep.
You can actually go right here.
Yep.
And you can go down to other QLAC options, and you click on that.
Yes.
All 4 websites have other options, whether it's SPIA, and you can actually go down here, and it says, I'd like to learn more. I still have questions.
Wow. That's beautiful.
You can email the questions. I'd like to talk to someone directly.
There it is. Dun, da, da, da.
You can click and schedule and talk to someone directly.
That is simplistically beautiful. That is made for the consumer.
So everything's made and kind of set up in a way that you can follow through it. I know that this has been a lot for everybody to kind of swallow at one time, especially with your
I'm wired,
7
Jim.
cups of coffee tonight.
I'm excited for the consumer to have this at their fingertips 24/7. I'm excited for them, Jim.
So with that, Stan.
Thanks for showing up. See you next time.
I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, if you want to see a replay of this, you can go back. It'll be posted in the next 48 hours on the website.
Are we going to edit anything out, Jim?
We don't edit. Well, we just edit out any hiccups like my bad quote.
All righty. See you next time.
Thank you.